So they project that sue me thing, whether they're involved in stealing trash or not. Fine, you're sued in the court of the Lord. It will affect your lives if you're actually doing it, or even if you support it. You know, you can't define what the court of the Lord is. Everybody knows what that is. It belongs to the Almighty God and the Almighty God alone. Right. So I cleared off some of the snow, but I put salt down, just let it melt because it's warmer than warm. Now here's what they're doing, and I don't know how much of it is Satan's stance and how much is them. The weather reports are screwy. Like I don't even think this weather report's going to be 100%. Somewhere it's going to change and warm up. They did this before. Well, that's part of making somebody, like if they have a victim, they want a depression, a suicide. They'll paint the winter doldrums more doldrum than it is. I can't tell you where the weather report was compromised. I know it's been compromised physically to fuck the head of their victim. Again, F the head of their victim means military intelligence, psychological torture. But again, you know, people like Ice Watch use it. People like Narcos use it. People like PIs working for all the above and worse. But no, you can't steal somebody's trash. You just can't. In my case, you can't even take it off the curb because I didn't leave it there. I didn't abandon it. It's only abandoned, and it's not even abandoned when it gets like if somebody works for Vogel and they say, okay, and again, it's hard to sort out my trash, and you know, I guess you can find my bags. Let's say they hire somebody on the side at Vogel to buy the trash. Vogel didn't give them permission to take the trash. Therefore, to be a theft also. So the only situations where it applies to is a public dumpster, which means, I guess, yeah, a public dumpster. Because not even, like if I put it in a dumpster on a property and you don't have proper authority to go into that dumpster, then you're stealing it. Okay. Now, if I just leave it somewhere in a public place, yeah, then you have a right to it. I'm not worried about nothing. Don't start your bullshit again, all of you. You're the ones that are worried about it. That's why you've been spending tens of millions of dollars over the last 30 years to do this to me. None of you are altruistic. Not at all. Not even the least bit. The little tears you get are crocodile tears, a little Hollywood acting. Oh, we really care. Right. Agreed. So again, it is what it is. Yeah, make those places, just define them as military reservations. It doesn't take an act. I don't think it takes an act of Congress or anything. While you're building it, you designated a military reservation or a federal reservation. And what I would do is I would actually put a military detachment there. So what I would do is in those facilities, I would put like you have the FBI police. I would automatically put a MP detachment there. So they can't argue that it's not really this or that. So we get it even further. So what you would want to do is designate a military police detachment to military reservation, DHS, detention facility, ABC. So then it's, you know, obviously a military reservation, not just a federal reservation. Right. Well, we have tenant, like Quantico. Quantico, same thing. Right. Now, Quantico also has a security gate, and, you know, that's what you would also need. Right. Actually, maybe not. I don't know what kind of situation you're going to work there, but you probably would. I would just put several layers. You know, you have your military, and you have inside that, you have your DHS security. Right. Well, you know, you have to compromise both entities if you're going to compromise it, which is a little more difficult. That's why we see a lot of contractors, because the deep state can put contractors in. Like, you know, Peg have explained some of it. It's not all just DEI. It's putting corrupt cronies in. So with DEI, you could steer a contract without, it's a cover story, without somebody saying, well, why did you give that contract to that person? Well, DEI. Me, me, me. But apparently there's black people, gay people in the government. They said DEI is bullshit. They're not giving it to the, DEI people that are deserving. They're giving it to cronies, and they just simply say DEI to cover over the fact that it's not merit at all. It's like even, right, it's not even merit inside DEI. It's not merit at all. Right. So it's just cronyism. It's the same old cronyism. It's just easier that way. And then there's a certain number of white people that they hire but then again, they don't need to cover that because because it's only a few at that point. So there's white people that are getting promoted as cronies, white straight males, but right, those few people are, you don't even have to cover for that. You say, well, I selected this person. Right. If without the DEI program, it would be totally screwy. They could be sued probably at that point. And then when we talk about contractors, what are the contractors actually doing for the money? Again, you explained how they don't provide the product. Do you understand from a CIA, NSA, FBI, national security standpoint, what are they doing for the money? And of course, I've explained that over the years, including what they're doing to ICE right now. There's a spy master somewhere in that, or several spy masters, actually. Right, you're not paying for spy master services. If whatever they do, right? I'm just paying for them to do this contract. But of course, they're making $1 million off of a $50,000 project, right? So who are those people, right? They're national security threats. They're spies for foreign nations, spies for narcos, so on and so forth. All right, I'll be back in a second.